Monster number 1. Infected dogs. The infected dogs are the first enemy you'll encounter in Penumbra Overture. These are zombified guard dogs that prowl across most areas of the abandoned lead mine in northern Greenland. They're heavily mutated with exposed flesh and distinctive yellow glowing eyes, the telltale signs of infection. Judging from their coloring, they appear to be German shepherds, though heavily deteriorated from their original state. These dogs were originally kept in the kennels within the facility located deeper in the mines. After the emergence of the Tuurngait virus, they breached their containment and spread throughout the entire mine complex. By the time the protagonist, Philip Buchanan Frisk, enters the mines, they've already formed several packs across the whole area. If the infected dogs spot Philip, they will immediately charge and attack. Unlike many horror game enemies, these dogs can actually be killed using explosives or melee weapons. When injured enough, they'll howl to call for backup from other pack members. Interestingly, the infection seems to have made them lose their sense of smell, which means Philip can hide from them relatively easily. Despite their dilapidated state, the dogs still retain fragments of their former intelligence, though they've become far more feral and noticeably more durable than normal dogs. Monster number 2. Spiders. These are incredibly large arachnids originating from deep within the mines. We're talking unnaturally huge, far bigger than any normal spider should be. They inhabit the dark and moist parts of the mine, showing a strong aversion to both fire and light. Their massive size strongly suggests mutations, most likely caused by the Tuurngait virus affecting the local wildlife. According to in-game documents, these spiders are venomous, highly territorial, and extremely aggressive towards other species. Their eggs can be found within the narrow tunnels of the mine. These eggs are volatile. If Philip gets too close or stimulates them in any way, they burst open, and the spider inside immediately attacks. What makes these spiders particularly interesting is the story of Dr. Roberts, an arachnic scientist better known as the Spider Hater. He had taken refuge in an unused part of the mine before Philip arrived. During his isolation, Dr. Roberts documented extensive findings about the spider species sharing his home. At one point, he woke up to find a spider in his mouth. In a panic, he accidentally swallowed it and discovered the spiders were edible. What started as an accident became a survival strategy. He began consuming the spiders regularly for sustenance. Though originally considered non-venomous, Dr. Roberts later discovered the spiders contained a slight amount of weak venom. Individually harmless, but dangerous in massive quantities. After consuming them for several months, his tongue swelled to absurd levels and had to be surgically removed. The spiders live in the darkest, dampest sections of the mine. They're ambush predators. Many encounters happen when you stumble upon their egg clusters in narrow passages. The moment those eggs detect movement, they burst, and you're dealing with an angry spider in close quarters. Their aversion to light and fire gives you defensive options, but in the claustrophobic mine tunnels, your options are limited. They're territorial and will aggressively defend their nesting areas. Monster number 3. Giant rockworm. The giant rockworm is the largest and deadliest creature you'll encounter in the entire Penumbra series. This is a massive gray-colored worm that burrows through solid earth at terrifying speeds. Its most prominent feature is a large gaping mouth filled with razor-sharp teeth. Like all worms, it has no eyes. What makes it nearly invincible is its thick, durable exoskeleton that protects it from any means of attack. Cave art suggests these worms have been native to the Greenland region for thousands of years. They are not a recent mutation, but an ancient species. The worms weren't officially discovered until the 1970s, when they were first documented by Dr. Peter. Following this discovery, scientists in the iron mine conducted further research and managed to recover some baby worms for experimentation. These experiments proved to be failures. The baby worms eventually died within captivity. Some adult worms were also captured, but they broke out before the events of Penumbra Overture. It's unclear whether these worms were under Tuurngait control or if they're simply territorial creatures, like the infected dogs and spiders. The giant rockworm has no sense of smell and tracks exclusively by vibration. Because of its indestructible exoskeleton, you cannot fight it. Your only option is to run. Monster 4. Infected. Tuurngait Infected. The Infected are the first enemies encountered in Penumbra Black Plague. These are former shelter personnel who have been transformed by the Tuurngait into drones serving the hive mind. They're something far more intelligent and are mentally connected through a shared consciousness. While they mostly groan, snarl, and wheeze, the Infected will speak out in deep, rough voices if Philip makes enough noise or gets spotted. They've been observed carrying different objects they can use as weapons against the protagonist: flashlights, crowbars, and fire axes, proving they retain problem-solving abilities. On March 3, 2000, members of the Archaic cast set up a secret research base near an abandoned lead mine in northern Greenland. They discovered an ancient underground structure known as the Tuurngait Tomb. Among the staff members was Chief Translator Wilbur Frisk, Philip's father, who protested further excavation and warned against breaching the tomb. His protests were left unheard, and the tomb was opened. After the opening, all hell broke loose. From the tomb emerged a formless entity known as the Tuurngait, which began infecting humans and animals alike. The organization refers to this as the Tuurngait virus. The infection process is gradual and horrifying. Infected individuals suffer from oral distortions, photosensitivity, memory loss, and symptoms of déjà vu, as they slowly delve into the shared consciousness of the hive mind. After this, they fall into a catatonic state. When they wake, they're no longer who they were before. They've become violent toward anyone who isn't infected. The Infected patrol the shelter facility, working together with an intelligence that suggests hive coordination. They'll investigate sounds and can communicate with each other and sometimes with Philip using fragmented speech. Unlike traditional zombies, they use tools and weapons strategically. An Infected with a crowbar or fire axe is far more dangerous than one with just hands. Their photosensitivity means they avoid bright light, giving you some defensive options, but they're persistent hunters within the facility's dark corridors. Monster number 5. Clarence. Clarence is the secondary antagonist of Penumbra Black Plague, but he's unlike any other creature in the series. He's not a physical monster you can see or fight. He's a manifestation of the Tuurngait that exists solely within Philip's mind, the result of Philip's unique reaction to the Tuurngait virus. Clarence is a voice, a presence, a parasite sharing Philip's headspace. He's sarcastic, condescending, and disturbingly intelligent. Clarence named himself while exploring the space of Philip's mind. He came across a section devoted to film titles and discovered that Philip had watched 3,103.5 movies. The half refers to It's a Wonderful Life. Philip only watched the first half and never finished it. Clarence found this amusing and took his name from the guardian angel character in that film, sarcastically claiming he's somewhat of a guardian angel to Philip. It's a darkly ironic choice given what follows. Clarence is first heard in the sewers, where he transports Philip to a dream world. From that point on, he constantly taunts Philip, calling him a monkey, hinting that Tuurngait's hive mind is far more intellectually superior than individual human consciousness. Clarence has significant powers over Philip. He can block out Philip's vision, create hallucinations, and communicate with other infected through his connection to the hive mind. Originally, he seemed solely dedicated to freeing himself by getting Philip killed. However, he eventually switches tactics and tries to convince Philip to at least share control of his body. When the cure is injected, Clarence is forced out of Philip's mind, but the machine transfers him into a nearby infected corpse. He revives the body and tries to get revenge on Philip for attempting to kill him. However, he's killed by the Tuurngait itself. His self-consciousness is destroyed upon being reintegrated with the hive mind. Immediately following this, the Tuurngait stops attacking Philip. In his final message, Philip notes that he has more in common with Clarence than with the Tuurngait. Monster number 6. The Tuurngait. Main antagonist. The Tuurngait is the main antagonist of the entire Penumbra series. It's a sapient extraterrestrial being, a formless ancient entity that exists as a collective consciousness rather than a single physical form. It's the source of the virus, the hive mind controlling the infected, and the reason everything in the Penumbra series goes catastrophically wrong. The Tuurngait resides deep within the northwestern mine in the uninhabited frozen wastelands of northern Greenland, within a temple known as the Tuurngait Tomb. The Archaic built the shelter research station around this tomb specifically to study and contain it. Long before the Archaic arrived, the Tuurngait was worshipped by the Inuit, who believed it to be a benign spirit. The name Tuurngait comes from Inuit mythology, spirits unconnected to physical bodies. Originally meaning killing spirit, it took on the meaning of demon with Christianization. When disturbed by Archaic researchers who opened the tomb, the Tuurngait, claiming it acted in self-defense, spread itself through the ranks of the shelter, turning researchers into husks that housed its will. The Tuurngait operates through infection and assimilation. It spreads via the Tuurngait virus, gradually absorbing individuals into its collective consciousness. The infected maintain some functionality but lose their individuality, becoming drones of the hive mind. The Tuurngait communicates directly with Philip at the end of Black Plague, claiming it wishes no harm to humans and only wants to be left alone. However, this claim is questionable. There are no signs the Archaic wished harm to the Tuurngait, yet notes indicate the virus was unleashed immediately after the tomb's discovery. The Tuurngait puts Philip through mental tests toward the end of the game, trying to prove he's stronger than his father Howard. It kills Clarence when he becomes too individualized, possibly as punishment for separating from the collective, or because Clarence had become more human than he would have believed, making him unfit for reintegration. Two types of Tuurngait artifacts exist. Persona TARDIS artifacts absorb the memory and flesh of humans who touch them and act as save points throughout the game. Finis Specialis artifacts are collectibles regarded by the Archaic as having little real value, but are prized by the lower caste. Honorable mention, Wilbur Frisk. Wilbur Frisk deserves special mention as a minor, unseen antagonist, whose story is told entirely through environmental clues and written documentation. Frisk was the chief overseer of the shelter research station in Greenland. When the Tuurngait tomb was opened by his order, everything went wrong. Elevated Archaic member Elof Carpenter was tasked with evaluating Frisk's performance, and through his notes, we learn about Frisk's horrifying descent into madness. After the virus outbreak, Frisk started showing peculiar symptoms. He grew unnaturally attached to the guard dogs in the kennels where they were hiding. He developed photosensitivity, a telltale sign of infection. Elof reported waking up near the lifeless corpse of Dr. Roberts, the spider hater, strongly suggesting Frisk was the culprit. Frisk began digging tunnels, mostly leading back to the old northwestern mine. These tunnels likely caused the dogs to escape to the old mines, as no living dogs remained in the kennels by the time Philip arrived. Despite having rations, Frisk started eating the dogs, possibly triggering his transformation into something inhuman. By the time Philip enters the kennels, Frisk has completed his transformation. He attacks from the holes he's created in the darkened hallways and can easily kill Philip. However, his extreme photosensitivity traps him in the dark spaces. Philip is safe if standing under the industrial lights throughout the kennels. Frisk's appearance is never seen in any Penumbra game. However, his post-transformation behavior displays extreme agility and heightened senses, able to overpower prey without being seen in the darkness. Due to Elof's notes describing his unnatural new form, it's believed Frisk transformed into a creature similar to the Hunter, a cut enemy from the 2006 tech demo. Frisk represents the tragedy of leadership under impossible circumstances. He went from chief overseer to a tunnel-dwelling, dog-eating monster stalking the facility he once commanded, and players never even see what he became.